of the Middle East, also Palestine. What's been going on the last couple
Gaza.
of years. It's nuts, crazy.
You talk about over 80,000 people. You see, a lot of Kenyans believe you cannot fight and win against Israel. It's in the Bible.
Yeah.
So I don't blame anybody. But again, these excesses need to be negotiated. And
Go on.
I went into Ramallah and met President Abbas in the occupied West Bank when I was vice president. And then I just met with the president of Israel, and they had a good working relationship. He said, now, Vice President, you go carry out your elections and come, continue. I think that's my forte. I like to work for peace anywhere, given an opportunity. But that did not happen because 2013 came, and then we all know the rest is history. I've never been back.
The rest, as they say, is history. Back home, a lot of farmers are complaining that fertilizer...
There was fertilizer gush, right? Another scandal. And I tried to talk to Minister Lenturi, who was fired as Minister for Agriculture. He was taken as a scapegoat, all right? The effect of that on the farm, on our industry, the farming, because this is a country, and I really love these young Kenyans. They are even going into smart farming. You see them on their computers doing incredible things. But we need fertilizer. We need fertilizer. Fertilizer gush came, made lined people's pockets. It's the same story. That nothing this administration touches, which is not underpinned by corruption considerations.
Look, looking back, you're 40 plus years in government, in politics. Greatest achievement, greatest regret.
Yeah, wow. I think the fact I'm still there to tell the story and to fix, to try to offer a solution gives me a sense of pride that I have not. When I went into Parliament as a young Kenyan at age 30, an auntie of mine told me in an open baraza, mtoto wangu, kwenda ukachunge uongozi vile mimi auntie wako nikachunge uongozi vile yeye amechunga hiyo ndoa yake. I think I've lived true to that challenge. And that auntie, since I've rested many years now, I am proud that I have not let her down. Therefore, that's a sense of achievement at that level. Of course, I know I represent a big constituency. A lot of them will feel, you've been in opposition these 15 years with Raila. Now at least Raila went in there, although he didn't believe in it. I can tell you, I'm writing that in a book. Raila did not believe in the broad-based thing. That's why Edwin Sifuna is carrying that vision, along with Jim Orengo. Those are the real people carrying my late brother's vision within ODM. And I wish them well. So that whole thing, as marks of great uncertainty. But my regret then is these people feel we've been in opposition. Others say you go to government to eat. They feel disenfranchised because, of course, if I was in government with Raila, some of the high professionals would have come from my party. So these are 15 years of deprivation. And they're asking how long? So to us is a meritocracy. That is what Kibaki and us started. So nobody should expect to get easy appointment as ambassador, as permanent secretary, as minister. But those regions have been marginalized. And where William Ruto wants to use somebody, he uses mediocrity to give the impression that the region is taken care of. That's my regret, that there are people who feel that because of me, they have not achieved what the objectives were. And yeah, I remember Mzee Moja, who is an old respected friend called David Musela. Musela could have been minister. But because of me, he never became. He could have been governor. He never became governor. So I kind of have a sense of regret that some people whose hopes were hinged on my own career progression may not have achieved their own objectives. But on the whole, I think that God's plan is the best. I believe it is divinity, and I'm not being dogmatic about it. I think politics also is a calling. For me, it has been a calling, and I want to see it through. This calling, I want to see it through for the benefit of my fellow citizens.
Yeah. And when you look at ODM, the split right now, you just talked about Sifuna and Orengo, and of course Babu and the rest of that split. And there's, of course, there's Dr. Buru, and there's Gladys Wanga, there's Abdul Samad on the other side. Is Orange split down the middle?
Obviously, because what happens in a sister party affects all of us. Because Kenya is a multi-party democracy. Although we may not be on the same side with them, but please remember that ODM just gave notice, but not that ODM, not Sifuna said. ODM is in Azimio la Umoja, One Kenya. Dr. Oburu's faction gave notice to withdraw from Azimio. So I have a direct interest in what is happening. And I think my coalition colleagues as well. But I can tell you, you heard me say, I spend a sizable chunk of my political life working with Raila Odinga. And I knew his mind. And that's why I went to mourn him in my own way when he passed on, because his friend did not even give us notice, didn't even allow us to bury him in the kind of time we would want. So we had to catch up with Raila Odinga. But I happen to know he was not for this broad-based government. And so when you see Jim Orengo, you see Raila Odinga. Peter Nyang'nyong is another Raila Odinga. But I know that Peter is given an assignment to work on the Singapore Road, for example. So he may be a little quiet, but I know that Peter Nyang'nyong, Jim Orengo, Edwin Sifuna, Osotsi, all right? And to some extent, Oparanya. But Oparanya seems to get mixed up. He's my friend. He once told me, oh, you, Kalonzo, you have no money, blah, blah, blah. I have some sweets in my mouth. You want to take the sweets out? I laughed. I don't think he's sitting pretty and comfortable. So, the Sifuna team is very clear. They are saying they are with us in the one-term Clarion Call, which, by the way, has become a national anthem.
Finally.
So, we hope to work with them to make this country better. It reminds me of what happened between LDP, then Rainbow, and I was one of them. It was me, the first signatory, Raila Odinga, George Saitoti, Mudi Awori, right? Rainbow.
Yes.
And then Kibaki, Kijano Amalwa, and Charity Ngilu in NAK. We're almost getting there. History repeats itself. I think we're most likely going to get together. And if we do, I think it was in the best interest of the country.
All right. Muhesh.
I know we are all hurting. Affording even medical bills is a problem. Putting things every which way. But I want to remind them of what the late Reverend Jesse Jackson, activist, and he said, America, keep hope alive. I want to tell fellow Kenyans, we must not give up. But we must also say no, and firmly no to misrule, to confusion in terms of governance of our country. Say never again shall we allow, the moment you mess up with IBC, you're messing up the future of this country. So let's all join together, and together take out the votes now. An opportunity has arisen. I know that young Kenyans are still very angry. They were very doubtful about even registering. They say, what for? But they have come up on their own volition. Hashtag Tukokadi. Let's allow them that space. For once, I am not the one to tell them, do ABC, because they know precisely. But we'll be there with them. These are our children. We'll walk with them. We'll make sure to go and beat innocent Kenyans as if we are terrorist state. We are going to get these things right. And the time is now.
Keep hope alive.
Keep hope alive.
Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, or Escape the Bride.
Are you out of data? Muthui Solutions Hub brings you just with or without Okoa Jahazi. To get these deals, pay exact amount to till number 690719289675.
To make sure that all the members of the opposition gang up against William Ruto. We are taking votes, but having Musyoka, Fred Matiang'i, Rigathi, and Edwin Sifuna, all of them on the ballot, the registration will be of no value. This is at Muchesia Anyika, who says, why can't Kalonzo become a good elder and guide young people such as Sifuna and Ndindi Nyoro to the presidency and Babu for Nairobi governor instead of vying? What is this new thing he wants to bring other than guiding the youth? And this is at It's Kipleting, who says each member of the so-called united opposition is scrambling for the presidential top seat. I foresee Wiper front leader demanding nothing other than the presidential seat. Should have traversed the whole country by now. Kenyans want you, but you need to be a little more serious about these votes. And this is at Being Shirley, who says Kalonzo Musyoka is the only safe pair of hands in the opposition. The others are too young. All right, that's your feedback on that interview Jeff Koinange just held, sitting across from the Wiper Patriotic Front leader Kalonzo Musyoka. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. We take a break, but we have more news coming up.